everyone, it's Nisha. So today I'm going to show you how I achieved this look with the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. I'm sure you've seen it all over the internet, but this has been sent to me by Urban Decay not so long ago, and I love this palette. It is beautiful. You know, the packaging is always really gorgeous. These are the colors. It is definitely warm palette. If you are not into those warm orangey rusty colors, you won't like it, but if you are going to love it. So first of all, let me tell you, the quality is amazing, the color payoff is amazing, they blend like a dream, so there is no question that this palette is great quality and it's beautiful if you like those colors. In this palette you have 5 shimmery eyeshadows and 7 matte, which is pretty good. I think in the other Nakeds there wasn't that many shimmery eyeshadows, so you have a bit more option. I wish this palette, apart from this very light one, had another sort of champagne-y, very shimmery eyeshadow, but that's just because, you know, I like to do my eyes that way, where I apply really light shimmery eyeshadow in the middle. I could do it with this one, but I felt it might have been a bit too much contrast. I haven't played with it that much, so I haven't done that many looks. This one is like one that came to mind straight away, and I really like how it turned out. Now, I've had a lot of questions from you when I first shown you this palette. How does it compare to, for example, the Anastasia Modern Renaissance or the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Edition? So let's talk about that. I would say if you have the Anastasia Modern Renaissance, when you first look at them both, they don't look that similar, but this one definitely has all the warm eyeshadows, and I think you could achieve very similar look with this one. In fact, I think you have maybe a bit more variety in this one. As you can see, these look a bit not the same, but very similar tone, whereas in here you've got a few quite different ones. The same with the Huda Rose Golden palette. Let's compare them. Again, you can see the Huda palette is very warm and I can achieve similar look. The only thing is with this palette, these foiled eyeshadows, I know you can use them wet. I am not impressed with these sparkly eyeshadows. They are a bit chunky and crumbly, I would say, but nevertheless this is beautiful palette as well. But again, if you have this one, I don't feel you really need the Urban Decay, unless you are real collector of the Urban Decay Naked palettes and that's your thing. So, I mean, now let me just compare the Huda Beauty and Anastasia palettes. These look very similar. Anastasia just doesn't have those very shimmery foiled eyeshadows, but the tones are very similar. And then for the cheaper option, you've got the Blank Canvas Cosmetics The Art of Perfection palette. And if I show you this one and the Urban Decay, again, warm colors, very similar. The only thing is, this palette is very nice, obviously much cheaper, but I don't think quality wise is as good as the Urban Decay. It is very good quality, but you know, you can't compare it to Urban Decay. And also this one doesn't have any shimmery eyeshadows. They are all, well, I think just this one is shimmering. Yeah, the Goddess. It just has one shimmery eyeshadow. So if you have any of the other palettes, I don't feel you really need the Urban Decay, unless, like I said, you love Urban Decay and you're a collector of the Naked palettes. I feel like with the Huda Beauty and the Modern Renaissance, I have a bit more flexibility because it's not just like one tone, you know. These seem very similar, like these two, for example, but one is matte, one is shimmery. Another thing is, if you are someone that doesn't like, you know, strong makeup like me in your face, you won't like this palette, because yes, you have the first 4 colors that are very light, and you could do really light everyday look, but then it's a waste of money, because why would you buy this palette when most of those eyeshadows are quite dark and pigmented? You would be better off to get in one of the Naked basics, you know, the little palettes for that sort of look. But if you like your warm sunset, rusty looks, if you have blue eyes, those colors really help the blue eyes to pop, then this palette is perfect. Okay, so that's my thoughts on it. Beautiful palette, great quality, but the rest is up to you. So let me show you now how I achieved this look. Okay, so first I'm going to take Chaser, which is the second lightest one, on a MAC 217, and I'm going to put it above my crease. So this will be like my transition color, and everything will blend into it. They are beautiful eyeshadows. They blend wonderfully. Next I will take Sourced, which is the third one, on the same brush, and I'm going to go right in my crease with it. They are very pigmented, so make sure you tap off your brush. Remember, it's much better to take a little eyeshadow and build it up than just put loads on and then there is not much you can do. So this could be, you know, you could use now the ounce, the first one, on your mobile lid, and that could be your very everyday look. But if you like very light everyday looks, then I wouldn't buy this palette, because there is many other palettes that you probably would get more use out of. Most of these eyeshadows are quite dark and very pigmented. Now I'm going to take a Real Techniques shading brush, and I will go into Enfuego, which is the third darkest one, and I will shade, do my 7, if you are new and don't know what I'm talking about 7 for hooded eyes, I will link it at the end of my video. So I'm shading this area in a shape of 7. I always have the Zoeva C430, which I absolutely love for blending, and I have nothing on it. I just use it for blending it. So blend it a bit here and into your crease, or even above your crease, and keep building that up. So as you can see, I'm patting when I apply this eyeshadow rather than swiping, because, you know, at our age the skin is not as smooth it's very difficult to just go in that motion when you apply eyeshadow precisely. For blending is fine, you use soft brush and then you can go at it. Now I'm going to use some of the shimmery ones. I will use Scorched. This is an identified brush, old brush. I will use Scorched and I will just put it in the middle of my eyelid, just on my mobile lid, and go into that dark eyeshadow. Now I'm going to take Lumbar, which is that one, and I will use the Bare Essentials dry eyeshadow brush, and I will go with it on my inner corner of my eye. Let's blend it all out a bit. Always blend upwards. I want to make my outer corner darker, so I'm going back to Enfuego. Patting also helps to stop eyeshadow falling down. I might take the Scorched again and intensify this sparkle here in the middle. It's a beautiful color. Okay, now let's do our lower lashes, MAC 219, and I think I will use He Devil, which is one here. I'm going to take the MAC 217 that I had the chaser on and just blend it underneath that dark color without any extra color on it. And that's my eyeshadow done. Now I'm going to use the Maybelline Smoky, I don't even know, it is shadow pencil. I don't know, it is a fat pencil, but I quite like it. I will rub that in my top lashes. So this is just to like darken the roots of your lashes. I think there is no point for me to do a thick line as with my hooded eyes. When I open them you wouldn't see it. So this is purely just to darken your lash roots and make your lashes look thicker. And I will put it in a waterline, and I've told you before, when I put in a waterline I sort of rub it in the roots of my lashes too, that way the pencil stays longer. Now I will use Tarte Opening Act Lash Primer. This primer is really good. I think if you're, I mean my lashes are good, but I still like using it. It definitely makes a difference. I don't know about other primers because I know L'Oreal does it. I'm sure they're all pretty the same, so you don't necessarily need to splurge on that one, although I think on QVC UK there is a quite good deal when you buy the primer together with the Tarteist mascara, which I also like. and it works out quite a good price. So I'm using the Tarteist. Sorry if you can hear rain, but it's absolutely pouring down. It's been pouring down all day. It's very dark. I hope the lighting is okay. I had to use my ring light today. Normally I just do it with the daylight, but it was far too dark today. And that's your eyes done. For my lips, I am going to use today Rimmel Exaggerate Lip Liner in Addiction. You might see a bit of colour on my lips. This is just like a balm that I've got on that has slight pink undertone. Which is silly because it makes it very difficult to apply lip liner once you've got balm on. For my lipstick, I'm going to use Tom Ford Nude Vanille, which I've almost finished. And I'm going to top it up with Makeup Geek Foiled Lip Gloss in VIP. I think that goes really well with this look. And that is the finished look. So it is definitely a beautiful palette, great quality. So it's really up to you. With everything I said at the beginning, it's really your choice, but yes, I would recommend this palette if this is something you look for. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching and stay fabulous. Bye.